And we are recording. Good morning, everybody. I'm interviewing the absolutely gorgeous Tiffany Largie. She has agreed to be my first guest on my inaugural interview series. And I am super excited. I know very little. I know a little bit about your history, Tiffany. Can you fill us in on your journey?
Yeah, so I can absolutely tell you about my journey. I'd love to. I got to tell you, I'm super excited too. I am. I've been a fan of yours for a long time, personally. And
thank you very much.
Yeah, I have been. For sure. And, my journey really, it starts in a place where I had a dream, right? And I had two small girls, and I was a single mom. And what's neat about that is that when you're a single mom and you got two small girls and you kind of don't know what to do and you don't know what you're doing, you find yourself in a space of frustration, right?
I know exactly what you mean.
You're just frustrated. Right, exactly. And I was in this place where, for me at that time, no money, right? I didn't have any money. If we weren't going to bed hungry, right, we were all of us, and at least I was. We went to bed hungry often. Things were just always up in the air. I had no idea how tomorrow was going to happen. And what's really just kind of crazy about that is that at that time, I made a decision that I didn't want to live this life anymore. I didn't want to live the life that I had been swimming in for a long time. And at that time, they told me that I was only worth $10.22 an hour. And if you can imagine, $10.22 an hour at 40 hours a week, that's $1,600 a month. It was $1,000 a piece. You know what I mean? Just to put each child in preschool. So before I even got to pay for food or rent or even thought about having a car of my own or, fun or diapers, I was already upside down. And so I made a decision that if my life was going to change, that I had to be the one to change it. And that meant for me that I needed to force myself to stop thinking small, because I didn't have the education, I didn't have the life work experience, and I was very young. And what I did with that is I turned that into a space of a journey, which started with entrepreneurship. And entrepreneurship, right, Michael, the ability to make whatever money that you believe you're worth, or make the amount of money according to the amount of work that you put in. And since then, I've built 3 multiple 6-figure businesses, and then I built a 7-figure business. And I did it before I turned 30. And so for me, and it's exciting for me because I did it with no money, no capital, no credit card or venture capitalists or loans, or my gosh, loans. No one would have even given me enough money to buy a pencil at that time. You know what I mean? Like it was just me. So
how did you do that? That's something I need to figure out.
Yeah. So, my very first business was in gift baskets. And what I did was I went to Barnes and Nobles, and those books that they have, and it'll say top 50 businesses you can start for under $1,000. And then it has like a section of under $1,000 and under $500 and under $100. Well, heck, there was no way I could do 1,000 or 500. So I really just I looked at the $100 section. I looked and looked and looked, and I stumbled upon gift baskets. And I was like, well, gosh, I'm not creative. I don't know anything about gift baskets, but this made me feel like I could actually get what I was worth, right? I had an opportunity to make more than the $10.22 an hour. So I started a gift basket business, and I borrowed the $70 plus to buy material enough to make one basket. And I made this one basket. And in this basket, it was a basket for homes or people who are moving into apartments. And what I did at that point was I went and I made a sample, and then I went door to door to businesses and to apartment complexes and to homeowners, and I knocked on the door and introduced my basket. And that's how I started my very first business.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That shows a lot of initiative. Now, what would have happened if you'd have gotten a big order? How would you have managed to get enough money
to
fulfill a big order?
Yeah, great question. How would I have gotten enough money to fill a big order? I got it. So that happened to me. And I have that check on my wall. It's been part of my journey. I photocopied it, my very first big checks. And what I would do is once I sold, I got like an apartment complex to agree to buy 30 baskets at once. Then I would force them to give me a 50% deposit. And with the 50% deposit, right, I was able to buy the materials that I needed to sit on the floor of my living room and make the rest of these doggone baskets.
And with that 50% deposit, you were able to get enough money. That's brilliant. That's really brilliant.
Yes, that's how I did it. And so I got them to give, and basically that's how I started my very first business. Got them to give me my first deposit, which was exciting, and I bought the materials.
Then you were on the roll.
Yes.
That was great.
Yes. That's how you do it.
Yeah, that is great.
Yes.
And how did you build that into a six-figure business?
I actually did not build that into a six-figure business. I built that business. That was my very first business. I've started quite a few. That business gave me the feel for starting a business, growing a business, doing something more. And then what I did from there is I went into the retail business, and I had a wedding and events business. And I'll tell you that story really quickly. I found the opportunity to start a business with again, no money. I saw an opportunity. There was a woman who was doing an event, and I was playing with my daughters at a park, and she was in the kind of, I guess you'd call it not an event center across the street. And there were all these trucks outside. And so I walked to this event center, and I was curious, and I had my little girls in hand, and I approached the woman. And when I approached the woman, I say to her, hey, what do you do? What are you doing? And she's like, well, I'm an event planner. And for me, I was making baskets, and baskets were boring. So I was like, wow, event planning, that looks like fun. That's exciting. So what I did at that point was I asked her kind of boldly, hey, have you ever thought of selling your business? And she looked at me like I was crazy, because there's chair covers coming and tables moving and all these vendors that are there to put on this event. And here is this young girl with girls with little kids, and she's asking her if she wants to sell her business. And she kind of politely and impolitely gave me her card. And I think she wanted to get rid of me personally, but she gave me her card and told me to follow up with her in 2 weeks. And so I did. So I followed up with her in 2 weeks, and lo and behold, she's like, oh, well, I've been thinking of selling my business. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is exciting. Yippee. So she told me she'll sell me her business for $25,000. And I'm like, this is so exciting. But the problem is that I don't have any money. $25,000, I already had $25 in my bank account. So I kind of think about it, and I convince her to sell me her business at $30,000. and she would sell it to me on a note, which means I'd pay $5,000 a month for 6 months. And so she agreed to do that. But what's really fascinating about that is that fast forward, we go through the process, we get to a lawyer, her lawyer, we sit down, I sign papers. A week and a half, 2 weeks later, I'm kind of driving to the store because it's my very first day to be in my brand new business. And I'm super excited. And I get to the store, and Michael, when I get to the store, the sign on the top of the store is gone and all the signage inside is gone. And I run inside bewildered, and I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And she's like, I see her packing, and she's like, I'm packing up my stuff. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I just bought the business. I just bought all that stuff. And she's like, no, you bought the assets. And I'm like, the assets? I didn't buy the business. I bought the assets. So what she did, she knew what she was doing. She creatively sold me her assets. So she sold me all the junk in the store. She took her phone number, her website, her name, everything. So I was thinking I'm getting the deal of a lifetime, right? And I'm walking into a business, and I'd kind of take my little knowledge that I've learned and I'd make it into something bigger. But she took the business and left me the assets. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Because I now have a note for $30,000. I don't know a thing about events. I don't know a thing about weddings or the store, and I have nothing to go on. And so that I had an option at that time. I could have laid on the floor and cried forever, or I could have, sucked it up and made a decision that if it was going to happen, it'd be me. And that, and that's it. Like, there was no other way to make this thing happen but for me to make it happen. So I got to work, and it was really hard. But that's where I developed my first 6 figures in business. My very first. I took a bunch of junk and I started a brand new business.
No, how?
$30,000 in debt, which is the truth. But I started a brand new business.
How did you? I'm bewildered. How did you manage to pay that up in 6 months?
So what I did first was that very same time, that very day, I cried for just a second. And what I did next was I got the phone book, because, I didn't really know how to use the internet then. So I got the yellow pages and, and I went down the list, and I found all the florists in the neighborhood, the DJs, what do you call them? The DJs, the photographers, the videographers, everyone who's related to events or weddings. And I called them and I said, hi, I'm the new president of XYZ. I opened this company. Here's our re-grand opening. I'm giving away a bonus for a referral fee for anyone who walks into your store. And then I had somebody who called me back. I must have made hundreds of phone calls. No one bit. No one said, but one person called me back at the end of that. And he said he had a couple. I talked to the couple. We made an appointment for later on that week for 10 a.m. And so, because they were planning a wedding. And after that, I kind of closed up the shop. And if there was a 24-hour wedding expert, I was it. I became a 24-hour expert in all things wedding, thanks to Barnes & Nobles. And I read the hell out of every magazine. I read every book on the shelf. And when they came in, I was ready. And I sat there, and I was ready. And I managed to answer all their questions, take them to the end. And then I closed. I asked them for their business. And I remember they were like, I didn't really plan on doing this, but you're so confident that now I want to do it. I want to be a part of it. I want to hire her. And that's it. And they gave me a deposit for 25% of the contract, which was a little over $2,500. And that's how I got started in that business. And then from then I just kept growing. So that was my first 6 figures. And then after that, my second. And you learn along the way, right? A lot of things I didn't do right. A lot of mistakes I made.
You are amazing. You are really amazing.
I received that. I appreciate that. You know, it's been a journey for sure. Such a journey. But one that I'm grateful for.
You are really an amazing lady.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, I'm really honored to have you here. Oh my God. So, your third business, what was that?
That was in hardware. So my third and fourth, if you will, they were both in hardware. But the last, where I went to 7 figures, was in hardware, software, and mail applications.
Okay, tell me about that.
So, you mean the last business?
Yeah.
Yeah, great question.
The 7 figure.
The 7-figure business.
Go big.
Yeah, go big. So I heard of an opportunity in another state. I lived in Florida at the time and heard that there was low market share in a specific industry. And I decided to, on a whim, move there. I had already built a 6-figure business before. And I said to myself, well, gosh, if there's ever going to be an opportunity for me to do something bigger than I've ever done before, which scared me, this was it. So I moved states away to a place in North Carolina. I'd never been there before, didn't really know the place. And I built a business, and we went from roughly 0 to somewhere around $2.5 million in sales in about 4 years. And we had 3 offices and 15 employees. And, you know, it was really great experience. I learned so much, but more importantly, that's really what taught me to scale and to dream bigger than I've ever dreamed before. And so what's neat is that I had a business like that, and I get to a space where I understand and realize that the only thing that stops you respectively from getting to that next level, from growing to a new space, is you. That's the only thing, you know, because this young girl would have never have believed in a million years that back then, when I had my oldest now, who was, you know, holding on to my leg, I would have never have dreamed in a million years that I would have been able to grow to multiple 6 figures, then to multiple 7 figures, that I'd be anything more than what everyone thought I would be.
And how old are your girls now?
My oldest is 13. She'll be 14 in 6-7 months, I guess, 8 months from now. And my middle, she's 11, and she'll be 12 in a couple months. And my youngest, my little one, is 5 going on 6.
They have to be so proud of you.
They watch mom. They do. I believe that, you know, the best example that anyone can ever do is be an example themselves, right? Just whatever it is you do or believe, you got to live it. So my children have watched me take risks, move across the country, chase dreams, follow ideas, work very hard. They've watched it. They know it. And, you know, my only prayer is that when they become women themselves, that they do the same thing, that they don't live like everyone else, and that they chase their dreams wherever they are. They beat the odds, they kick ass, and they do things that most people don't believe is possible.
Well, my journey is a lot like yours. I've had people tell me that I will never work. I've had people tell me that you will never work at all.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Like, look at me now.
I know. That's amazing.
People are flying me in the city.
I'm sure.
Talking to people.
That's amazing.
Incredible.
It is incredible. Like literally, it's really incredible.
I love what I do, but enough about me. I'm here. the focus is all on you. So tell me, how much does it cost to hire your company?
How much does it cost to hire us?
Yeah, if I were to come to you and hire you.
Great question. It's a skewed answer. And the reason why is because we have built a way for every level of business to be able to engage with us at this point, right? So if you're not doing six figures yet, if you've been in business and you're doing 30, 40, 50, 60,000 or 20 for that matter, and you just can't figure out what to do, where to go next, we have a program for you, which is amazing. As a matter of fact, I was just reading some of the reviews of people posting online. We have a great level, and it's low level. It's I won't say it's cost effective. That's not the drive, but it's exactly it's the right investment for that type of an entrepreneur, because sometimes entrepreneurs tend to make investments that are way out of their space, and the kind of way out of your space puts a dangerous pressure on you. That's no good.
Okay.
Right?
I'm having trouble.
Okay.
I can't get sales.
Okay, you can't get sales.
Right. I
Okay.
need sales.
You need sales.
We all become a customer.
Maybe, absolutely. I'd love to have a conversation after this.
Okay,
hands
good.
down. Hands down. Yes, hands down.
Good.
So we have a very black and white process that's simple. What the market, when I sold my business, which was very hard for me to do emotionally, because I knew I'd be starting a brand new business, which is Tiffany Largie Business Strategies, and it would be based on all of the knowledge, everything I've learned and have been through this point. But what I wanted to do is I didn't want to be, there's so many companies out there that are saying, create a landing page, a funnel, create a video, opt-in, and for me, when you're frustrated, when your back's against the wall, all of that goes over your head.
Yeah.
And it's not easy to do. It's not 1, 2, 3. And I like practical. So
I like cheap.
Yeah, yes. I like just simple and practical. So for me, what we do at that point is we have our baseline kind of entryway to start with us, where you have interaction in the form of called Money Map Mastery. And what's important about that is that it's practical, black and white, easy to do steps. They're actionable. They don't require anything beyond what you currently know, so that you can get from where you are to that next level.
Okay.
Okay, which is to build cash.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And then, does that make sense?
Yeah. Listen, I told you I'd keep you about half an hour, and I am a man of my word.
I love it.
No, I'll let you get going. Please tell us how we can keep getting in touch with you.
Absolutely. So it's tiffanylargie.com.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put it here inside of the chat. But I'm also going to put here tiffanylargie.com /3 things. So this is a really great video that it's a training video, and it's 3 things that you can use or do right now to create to add significant revenue to your bottom line. There's 3 different specific, easy things. It's a training video. It's less than 7 minutes. It's a total no-brainer to watch, and it's fun to watch. So I'm going to actually give that here away to your audience. So that way, yeah, absolutely. So that way they have, and what I'm also going to do to anyone that watches, we're on tour this year. So what that means is we are in about 5 or 6 cities. We're in Washington, D.C. Next, I believe, is Houston. Chicago's coming up. And if you are in any of those cities, I'm giving you a complimentary ticket to come to our event.
I wish I were in the areas that you are going to be in.
Well, funny enough, you say that. I'm really highly considering adding Canada to my travel, to my list.
When will that be?
I have no idea. It'll probably be late summer, early fall. That would be the time frame. Where?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I haven't even identified a city yet. We haven't identified a city yet.
Kelowna?
I hear you. I should come to where you are.
Yeah, please do. I would love it.
Complimentary ticket. I will absolutely take a look. So what I've done here is if they put in the word entrepreneur, they'll get a complimentary ticket.
I hate that word.
Yes.
I hate spelling that word.
You hate hearing the word entrepreneur?
No, spelling it.
Oh. I always spell it wrong, and that's why it took me so long, because I think I spelled it wrong twice.
Okay.
Well, you got to put entrepreneur in for the right way. It reduces the ticket by by over $100 some dollars. It comes down to $30, which is a deposit. And when they come in through the door, they get the money back. So it's a completely complimentary ticket.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for having me on.
You are absolutely my favorite guest.
Oh, you're so sweet. I can't wait to come and hang out with you again. So if there's ever a time, please let me know. I'd love to hang out with you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes, yes.
You are absolutely incredible.
Oh, you're so sweet. Listen, I would absolutely, from a sales perspective, before you reach out to me about your own company, I would totally take a look at that video. Because, yes, because it's a really great, quick, clean video that you can use and implement today. It'll totally jargon. At least one or two of the strategies will jog your mind right now for where you are. And what I would say is make sure that you're following us, because we're going to be putting out a lot of video content on our YouTube channel, which is our newest kind of social media platform. And connect with us on Facebook and find us anywhere we are. I'd love, love, love to serve you.
So I'm going to be contacting you within the next week.
Yes, fantastic. I'd love to talk.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Have an incredible day, my friend.
Oh, thank you very much, my friend. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate your time.
Enjoy.
All right. Take care. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye now.
Bye.